Namaste. Welcome, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. It is my pleasure today to share with you a whole bunch of tarot decks. And I've been waiting a while to do this tag, and I wanted to do all Tarot de Marseille or Tarot de Marseille inspired decks, but I decided that I wanted to share with you a variety of decks today. So we're going to see both Tarot de Marseille inspired, Waite-Smith inspired, as well as Thoth and Thoth inspired decks. So there's going to be a mass variety of decks that I am sharing with you. And I want to thank César at 78 Puertas for this tarot tag. This is a lot of fun. I have watched many of your videos and thoroughly enjoyed everything that you have shared. And I know a lot of you have narrowed your themes, so you're not sharing your whole collection. But I've got a big variety of things to share with you today. So let's get to it, because there are 21 prompts. So I'm going to share with you my this is not my first tarot deck. You can see by the wearing on the box that it is one that is near first. My first tarot deck was a double set of a small Crowley and a small plaid-backed Waite-Smith deck. And this is the one that I went to soon after, because I was not connecting with, look at the box. I was not connecting with the Waite-Smith cards at that time. And so the Robin Wood Tarot became a very special deck to me. And I worked with this deck for many, many years. And I suppose I should stop, because I may not necessarily be talking to the regulars. My name is Sadhana, and I'm on the west coast of British Columbia, Canada. I've been a tarot reader for over 25 years, and I have, I don't know how many videos I have, 1,000 plus videos on my channel. So if you like what I'm sharing with you today, I hope to see you again sometime. Welcome. And welcome to Sharon, Trio of Witches. Yes, it's been a long time. Saskia, namaste to you. And Dee, welcome back. And anyone else that's in the background, hello, welcome. What did you say, Dee? Let me go to highlight your comment. And frankly, odd answers. Okay, welcome. So yeah, so this deck was one that I worked with exclusively for a long time, and I deeply connected to Robin's The Additional book, and there were so many things I loved because of her time in Okinawa, and I may have been in Japan at that time or near after that time, and I just I don't know, I felt like she was my sister. And this was a deck that I just absolutely loved. Love, love, love. Now, I have been on a somewhat, what would you say? What's the expression? Like I haven't been buying many decks for the last few years, because I have hundreds of them. And it is my intention to spend more time with my decks to get to know them. And that's one of the reasons that I'm doing a Tarot de Marseille year, is because there's a bunch of those that I haven't connected with. And I'm just getting my Zoom, because for this deck, you need more of a table. So my most recent purchase is the Tarocchi Fine dalla Torre in Bologna. And this is one that was on my wish list for some time, and I can't remember who had it. It is a uncoated deck which is something I truly love. The cards are large. I have done a full walkthrough of this on my channel. And I thought it was just wonderful to have some older decks in the conversation as I was going through my Tarot de Marseille year. And this gorgeous deck, yeah, it's just beautiful. Just beautiful. I'm so happy that I purchased this. It was so easy to get my hands on. It came right away, and it was not astronomically priced. So, yeah, this is my most recent tarot deck. The third question is about colors, and oh my goodness, this is I have a lot of colorful tarot decks, and to answer this question well, I have to show you more than one. For many, many years, I have called this deck my Easter egg deck. This is the Tarot de Ozar, and it has gold cards and pink cards and red cards. And it's just a deck that is full of color. There is a pink card. I will put the Empress in here now while it's in hand. And another deck that came to mind was one I did a deep dive with on a personal journey is the Thoth Tarot Journey. And this is another feast for the eyes kind of deck that is so beautiful. Look at all these colors. Look how that fans out. This could definitely be the most colorful deck I have. It's just, I just love looking at the cards, let alone reading with them. And some of them are bright, some of them are moody, some of them are in focus, some of them are not. I will zoom back in because that big deck is, I'll zoom out when we get to the big card question so you can see. Just gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And I have one more deck I want to show you that I have not yet worked with. And hopefully it is right here. Yes, it is. I purchased this deck for the Four of Pentacles. Oh dear, I wasn't in the comments. Saskia, I didn't sorry, I wasn't looking at the comments when you asked this. So, let's go back. Sorry, maybe I was going too fast. So my first tarot deck is the Robin Wood Tarot. Okay. Most recent deck Tarocchi Fine dalla Torre. Colorful deck is the Tarot de Ozar. I can tell this is going to be one of these videos. So this is the Tarot de Ozar. And then I showed you the Thoth Journey Tarot, which I just had in hand and didn't put back in its box. This is the Thoth Tarot, the Thoth Journey Tarot. And I'm going to show you one more. And Thoth Journey Tarot. And so the deck that I bought for the Four of Pentacles, because the Four of Discs, it was Four of Discs, I guess, was so beautiful. And I'm going to make sure that I show it to you if I can find it. Now I got distracted by Saskia. I put the deck down. Okay. It can't be far away. It's right here, right in front of me. And this is a really cool deck, and I cannot wait to make time to work with this deck. And I want to learn this one. Look at these colors. This is called the Neon Tarot. And it has some Chinese characters on it. And it's by a Russian creator called Katya Kurtoka. And the publishing company is Dark Cinevere. This is the deck, the Neon Tarot. And there are Chinese characters on the court cards. There is the Two of Cups. I mean, it's incredibly beautiful. And I'm going to leaf through. And I saw this deck in, here it is. This is the card that I bought this deck for. Alleyman. So I purchased the Alleyman Tarot, and this was the Four of Discs in the Alleyman Tarot. And I had to have this deck. I just thought it was so incredibly beautiful. And it has some, I don't know how I'm going to read with this, but it'll take a deep dive. And maybe I will do this after. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Maybe I can do this after I do my deep dive with Tarot Avatara. You know, I started learning Chinese. I speak Japanese, and I started learning Chinese probably 6 years after I had started studying Japanese, and I regret not following through. So, yeah. All right. So that is a long-winded answer to colorful decks. Okay. Now, faces. Faces. You know what? I don't like this question because honestly, I don't know that there are a lot of decks with great faces for me. But I had to pull out an old favorite because there are some faces in this deck that just make me I just find them so beautiful, incredibly beautiful. And when I use this deck is called Tarot of the Hidden Realm, if you don't know it. When I use this deck, I just kind of get captured and lost in these faces. And I'll show you a couple of the scary faces as well too, because there's some extraordinarily scary faces. One anyway. Like, look at this little fae. Oh my goodness. And this one, they're so beautiful. And even this crone face, she's gorgeous. We have saucy faces. We have, yeah. Oh my goodness. Like this one, just beautiful. Just beautiful. But I still haven't found my favorite card. So you have to wait until I find my favorite face. These two. These could be two of my favorite faces in tarot. Okay, and I said I would, oh, this guy's pretty great too. Okay, I'm going to show you how well how well she does scary faces. You know, there's not that many. But there's a Morrigan card that's kind of crazy. Yeah. Okay. And I'm on banners. I can see some of you have commented. Okay, so here's the Ten of Swords. I think the faces are extraordinary in this deck. Okay. All right. Now, largest tarot deck. A few came to mind. A few. And I have one I think it's Los Scarabeo. They have professional size decks. Do you know what I'm talking about? They're enormous. I'm going to actually switch the screen because I can't change the camera. So it's this big. And I'll show you a tarot deck. So this is a tarot deck. So these cards are huge. They're like 2.5 times the size of a tarot deck. And this actually could come up in the back card backs question. Beautiful card backs. So why do I have these cards? I use them sometimes at an event. So if I'm doing a single card pull, they're just really big. Big. But I don't necessarily read with these cards, so I want to show you another deck. These are the backs. It's called Universal Tarot. Universal Professional Edition. I don't love the artwork, but my favorite large deck is this one. This is the Red Seeds Tarot, and it is also huge. It's very hard to shuffle. So here is standard deck. And I love these cards. I did a deep dive with this deck in the Facebook group, along with the Red Seeds Oracles. And it is a mittful to shuffle. I'll show you in a second how I shuffle it. I loved studying this deck and doing these readings. I was so surprised how it's a great chakra deck. It's a great personal deck. This deck follows the path of the Aleutian Mysteries, and it's really well done. And honestly, the guidebook is good. It doesn't take that long to catch on to using it. Yeah. So glad. And of course, it works really well with the oracles. And the oracles are also huge. So for me, it has to be overhand shuffled. And I do have to kind of look at it while I'm shuffling it. So I'm not very good at shuffling this way. It's too big, it's too long. I need to shuffle in this direction. So that's the Red Seeds Tarot. All right, number 6. Here we go. I pulled out 3 decks. 3 little decks. My mini Kamwan Jodorowsky is definitely the smallest. This is about the size of a mini Lenormand. And I just wanted to show you. I just want to compare some of these. So this is the Pocket Wild Unknown. That's the Pocket Wild Unknown. This is the Trinity Tarot by Ari Weisner. And one of the reasons I really like this deck is because it is square. And I wish I had more square decks. And this mini Yoroski Kamwan deck is by far my smallest tarot deck. It is really cute. And it is not, I would say it's as difficult to shuffle a mini deck as it is to shuffle. I mean, this one's easy to shuffle. The other two I'm showing you here on the table are not easy to shuffle. So I have to overhand shuffle these for sure. But I love these little itty bitty cards. And doesn't everybody need a couple of little decks to throw in their bag when they are traveling? And yeah, the tarot in a tin are kind of nice to travel with, but they're not little. Welcome to Rolf. Hi, nice to have you here. Big decks are good for the artwork, more details, but to shuffle, yeah, they are a little tricky. Okay. What is next? I have done a few videos. This is way back. Way back. So I don't know how good they are. But I did a couple court card videos. I did a whole course on court cards. And I think it's important. I think what is a good court card is that you feel the energy of the card. And you're not necessarily thinking who it is. So I know there's some decks where you feel like, oh my God, that looks like so-and-so. Anyway, I have two decks to share with you. This one is called the Way Home Tarot. And the court cards are extraordinary. There's a Son of Wands and the Mother of Wands. And this one is my favorite. If you look inside, you can see a medicine woman. You can see her winged cape. And I love the movement of the body. And so within each of these silhouettes, there's a Son of Swords. You get a feeling that this is a quality within the person. The wands are definitely the best. Oh, this Daughter of Cups is lovely. So this is definitely a contender for best court cards. Where you are not, and if you don't know the deck, this is the deck. Where you're not focused on, I don't know, I love that about working with court cards, in that you have a chance to feel the energy of the person and the movement of the person. I mean, there are some decks, I love the pages, and other decks, oh my God, the queens are so awful, so poorly done, and I might love the kings. It's really hard to find a tarot deck with 16 excellent court cards. And it's so annoying because these 16 cards are really important. I think another deck that definitely got it right was Pagan Otherworlds. You can feel a lot in these cards. And my favorite court card is the Queen of Pentacles. This one. I also have a thing for decks where you can feel, almost like feel the quality of the fabric, and the fabric in this deck is just beautiful. The costumes are really extraordinary. Oh, oh, and the King of Cups. I really like him. So there are two of my favorite court card. Number 8. Okay, so worn out. And I have decks that are worn for different reasons. No, I don't know if you can see. This one is pretty much every card is chipped. I do have a couple that have like a chunk taken out of them. This is the Wildwood Tarot. This deck I've also some of them have like a bend in the card, and I have wiped every card in this deck because I have spilt water on it. This is my second copy of this deck. My first copy of this deck, I actually lost cards. So this is a well-loved and well-worn deck. I think actually my most well-worn deck is not on the well, it's not on the table here. It's sort of out of commission. Most esoteric. Most esoteric. Well, I'm going to say the Rosetta Tarot. And I actually have 2 copies of the Rosetta Tarot. The Rosetta Tarot is by Mel Meline, and it is a Thoth-based deck. And this particular version of the deck has hieroglyphs instead of English letters. And it is a stunning deck. Now, I have done a couple of years, maybe 3 years of study of the Thoth Tarot. And there is so much to study. And one of the things I like about Mel's decks are that, and I have the Tabula Mundi right here, I use it a lot, is that she is true to Crowley's intention. So she might change up some of the art for her interpretation, but I'll show you the English version because I recently purchased, not recently, but more recently. She doesn't stray from Crowley's intention. Yes, I see that she has a new deck, and I am not going to purchase it. I saw the preview of it, yeah. Okay, so this is the smaller tarot size version with the glyphs, the heart. And then this is the same one with English on the bottom. And you know what? I actually like the one with the hieroglyphs. It feels way more cool. And I think this is different. This one's got gold on it. Yeah. Okay, so that's the Rosetta. Let's put the Rosetta over here. Sorry, reaching across the camera. You know, my close second to that, which I do have on the table, I might share it with you for something else, is the Full Arcos Tarot. All right, so shadow work. I made a comment. I made notes on a few of these, and so my response to this question is it depends on what your shadow is, right? The best shadow deck isn't going to be the same. It depends on what shadow you are working with. And because a shadow you might be able to connect to through, I mean, all of our shadows are going to come up through first, second, and third chakra. And so it's either going to be there's going to be some ancestral link in all of those. There will be connection to people and family and relationships and lots of feelings. Yeah, so I think I have two. One is this one, which you all know. This is a trimmed copy of the first edition of the Marielle. I don't have the other one on the table. And my other suggestion would be Tarot of the She. I think that is a fantastic deck for if you're ready to go deep. And if I'm working with people over multiple sessions, I know when they're ready to go a little bit deeper. And I would never pull out this deck or Tarot of the She, or another deck I'm going to share with you, Tarot Avatara. So I think Tarot Avatara will go in my shadow work pile, definitely in my sacral chakra pile. And I think we need to be careful when we're doing this kind of work with or for or alongside other people. But yeah, so there you go. Okay. This is a fun question, is it not? Do we all not love a good tarot back? I showed you one already. So this is on the hieroglyph. So this paper is also really cool. This is the Rosetta Tarot. That's a really cool back. But I did pull out some others. And I noticed that the professional universal weight tarot that I was showing you, like these backs are really cool. Those are really cool. But I thought, I just remember this one. I haven't used this deck in a long time. It's also the backs are very colorful. Do you know this deck? Aren't they pretty? So I think that is a contender. And on the back of the thumbnail, I used the Margaret Peterson Tarot. And I think that is sort of a timeless tarot back. I really like that one. So yeah, so those are a few great backs. Okay, so the next one, number 12. What tarot deck has the best card stock? Now, there's two questions here. Oh, no, there's three. So there's three questions about card stock. Best card stock, Soft Silky Touch. And I think, I have a feeling that this refers to maybe Rose Petal Finish or something like that. And then there is a shuffling question. So there's three questions here related to cardstock. And I'm going to give you an example for each. Which tarot deck has the best card stock? Okay, so I'm going to cheat. No, I'm not. Well, yeah, I will. I'll show you. So isn't this really personal? I mean, I love uncoated cards. I I really love this. It's not cardboardy. It bends. It is shuffleable. So I have this thing about uncoated card stock, and I think it's great. However, it's not practical if you share your cards with other people. And this is sorry, that deck is La Corte de Tarocchi, this one. For longevity, a little bit of lamination, and somewhat bendable cardstock is, for me, is really helpful. I do have an abundance of really interesting cardstocks, and I just put one away. It is the I call it my air deck. It's got beautiful matte yellow edges. Sometimes you can't separate the cards because they're too cardboardy, or they stick together. So for me, the best cardstock, it's kind of smooth. And when you open the box, you never have to separate the cards. And I it's really hard to get metallic edges right. They hurt your hands. So I don't like that. And so this is excellent cardstock. This is very similar to this cardstock. And I have a feeling these are exactly the same. So for me, this is the best, the best cardstock. I like linen. Linen finish is great. Yeah. So what were these other questions? Soft Silky Touch. Soft Silky Touch. I'm going to say Soprafino. This one. This is an Il Meninghello deck. This is Tarocco Soprafino. And so if I think about rose petal finish, I don't really like it because it often sticks together. It's hard to separate the cards and stuff. But this has a slight waxiness to it, and it feels really nice. And the cards don't stick together. So this is a slightly coated paper. And that, I really like that. If you've been following my channel, you know that I love to shuffle. I love to riffle shuffle. And so this uncoated paper, and because of the shape of these cards, they're very hard to riffle shuffle because they're long. See if I can do it, because I don't usually riffle shuffle these. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. But you'll be able to hear the overhand shuffle of the sound. Okay. there's a noise that uncoated paper makes. And I love that sound. And this is my little cheat here. This deck is uncoated paper. Can you see the, I don't know if you can see it's like washi, like watercolor paper. And listen to this. It's the back bridge I love. Here. I'm going to do it again just so you can hear. It's so delicious. So, if I could ever find a tarot deck with this exact paper, and if I ever produce a tarot deck, I'm going to find this paper, and my tarot deck will be in this uncoated, delicious washi paper. Okay, Amber's having a bad dream, so that funny noise is my dog having a bad dream. Number 15. I think I'm going to go same direction as several people, and that is the Crowley Thoth Tarot. This deck is not evil. It's not bad. It's not going to burn a hole in your tarot table. This is sorted because I'm using it for teaching. It is so interesting now coming back and looking at some of the older Marseille decks, the older Italian decks, and reading some of the research and finding connections to the esoterica of the book M, of the Golden Dawn. That these directions that some of these creators went is not entirely original. And I think there is a lot of, now there's some things about this deck that I don't like, and that has to do with the sevens. It is occasionally misogynistic, but there's a lot we can learn from this deck. And it's definitely, if you really want to know the tarot, doing a Thoth inspired journey is so worth your time. So worth your time. Misunderstood. I said I pulled out the Falarcos tarot. Do we have other categories? Just a second here. So, misunderstood. Here's another one. So, in a different way, this deck was created by Carmen Sorrenti. And I did a deep dive. I have a deep dive on my channel. It's about 16 or 18 videos on this deck. And I did an interview with Carmen. I've actually had a few different Zoom chats with her about her work. And one of the things that is missing from this deck is a substantial book. There is a small book that comes with it. There is a PDF, and Carmen had promised some time ago a major book to go with it. And I just messaged her recently, and she said, well, funny you should ask, Sadhana. I am back at school, and I'm doing a PhD on dream work. And because of the work that I am doing, I may need to repaint some of these cards, and the content of the book is going to be expanded. So the idea of this book is based on healing through dreams and the work of dream channelers. And it's really an extraordinary piece, and it's not easy to wrap your head around. And so I think this one is it's really special to me. I did the edges in rose gold. I trimmed it. And I feel like there's still a lot of work to do with this deck. And there's something here. There's something about misunderstood decks. I think Margaret Peterson is another one. This painting reminds me of the Margaret Peterson in that there are layers in layers in Margaret Peterson's deck. And I love it when we get a chance to get a glimpse of those little layers. Honey Rose Ritual, welcome. Yeah. Is it Meg? I'm drawing a blank right now. So yeah. So I think this one is misunderstood. All right. So just a few more to go. Let's go to so the oldest deck I've already shown you, and that is the Fine della Torre. So this deck predates the Tarot de Marseille. And I'm just going to get the date for you, okay? There's a Winged Hermit. I just wanted to just double check this. Now, I wonder if I am wrong. I thought this was the oldest. This is an 18th century. No, this is 17th century. This choice went to the 17th century exemplary Bolognese deck of cards known as Fine della Torre, which unfortunately was passed down incomplete. So this is 17th century. Yeah. Okay. And then, surprising for good or bad, I am never one to pass on a deck without giving it a good chance. I always give a deck a second chance, even if my initial impression is not great. I've even been completely turned off a deck, and I watch a bunch of you on TarotTube, and like you absolutely love this deck, and I'm going like, what? No, I could never purchase that deck. And then I turn to another channel and somebody's madly in love with this deck. So there's a couple decks I have purchased because I didn't understand why you liked them so much. And some of them I have come to love, and others I passed on right away and should have never bought them. But this deck was gifted to me. And the person who sent it to me knows that I love watercolor art. And thought that it really, um, that I would understand this deck. And if you look at it, it's very gray. There's very little color in this deck. Most of the images are at night in the dark of the moon. And yet this deck has been an extraordinary reader. It is called Le Tarot au Amour Étrange. Le Tarot au Amour Étrange. Tarot of the Strange Branches. And it has the court cards have for queen and king, they have queen and goddess. It is a so it's a feminine deck, dark. And look at this. Some people love this card. This is a Queen of Swords. And this is Sadhana's favorite card. That's my favorite lover's card of all times. Of all times. Bar none. So yeah, this was, I was wowed how this deck read. And I could read it for anybody, everybody. It just hit something, and so poignant, and oh my goodness, crazy. I'm so grateful I have this deck. I should show you if you haven't seen. So these are the backs, and I edged it in a few different colors over many days to match the backs. And it's not great cardstock. It's hard to shuffle, but I absolutely love it. Okay. So I don't know that I have a good purchase story for tarot, but I'm going to tell you a purchase story about my Weaver's Oracle. My ex-husband was on a trip to France with one of my daughters. And at that time, I thought, ooh, I'll just have the Oracle deck shipped to their hotel in France because it was a lot cheaper than shipping it to Canada. So the Weaver's Oracle is published in the UK, and the shipping was really expensive. Plus, I knew I would get hit for import taxes. And so Carolyn very kindly packaged it up and was going to send it to France. And I forget how the whole story went, but the deck went to France, but it didn't get there for weeks. My family had left, and so this deck was sitting at a hotel in France. And I had to make contact with the concierge at the hotel in France. And it was a little hotel, and my French is not great. And I had to make arrangements for that deck to get shipped now from France to Canada. And on the honor of that hotel. And in the end, they didn't charge me anything. The hotel sent the deck here for nothing. So I was just wowed. So that is my best purchase story for an Oracle, not a tarot. I can't think of a great purchase story for a tarot. I'm sure I have one, but okay. And I challenge myself to read with all of my decks. I honestly, I don't have a self-reading deck. I have, I don't have 400 decks. Well, I don't know, I have a large purgatory pile. I have, let's say I have 250 decks right now at my fingertips, and whatever is in this area, I will read with. And part of my work with reading is like I'm a obsessive tarot student. I'm always studying and always reading, and I want to figure out what's going on in these decks. And so yeah, I don't have one. And I would read with any for myself with any of the decks that I have showed you. Okay. Um, I don't think that we can master the tarot. There is so much to learn, so much. There are, one of the things that I believe is that when a tarot, when an artist is creating a tarot deck, regardless of how they create it, whether they create it after deep study with a particular style of tarot, or they create it more emotionally, there's always stuff that ends up in the card that other people will see that the artist didn't intend. And I believe that regardless of the deck that you are working with, you're always going to find new things in the deck. So if you are working with the Waite Smith Tarot and you have been studying it and working with it for, I don't know, 20 years, and then all of a sudden you take a course on geomancy, you might start seeing geomantic figures in various things in the tarot deck. So I think like there's geomancy, for example, in the Philarkos tarot. And I'm really intrigued with all of these layers. Like, do you have to study astrology? Do you have to know something about the chakras? Do you have to know something about the history of tarot? What do you need to know in order to read the tarot? Well, my best answer to that is over your lifetime, there's a never-ending layer to uncover. And you can do that with any deck. And of course, there's others that are more challenging to do because the personal and emotional commitment that went into it from the creator is embedded in there. But there's always more you can unpack and things that you will see that other readers don't see. So study, keep studying, keep studying. And the final question is, what tarot deck is best overall? Well, best for cardstock, shuffability, readability. I honestly, I don't know the answer to that question, but I did pick one. And this is more of a general comment than anything else. So I'm going to go back to the Pagan Otherworlds and tell you why I think this is an excellent deck once I find my Zoom. So great cardstock, great shuffle ability. Love the court cards. So we've already done that. With the pips are aligned in a certain way that you will be able to make a story out of them. Now, if you look at this, you'll see that this is sort of a unique arrangement for the four. This is actually how the four coins were arranged in the Neon Tarot. Sometimes you will see four arranged in a square, and this has slightly different energy. But what I like about this deck is the amount of white space. And for me, a good deck has white space. I I like breathing room in a deck to interpret what I want to interpret. If a deck is very specific, so one of the things I don't like are realistic contemporary decks. Rarely will you see me working with one of those. So I've owned decks such as, I still have the Urban Tarot. Can't really use that deck. That's based in New York. I have had the Poppy Palin deck, Everyday Enchanted Tarot. Then there's that black and white one that's Thoth based. I mean, you probably know more than I do because I don't have a lot anymore. Some of the decks that you love, and have shared with me, I like, for example, people love Super Lunaris. I bought that deck because I love the Hierophant card, but I can't read with that deck. I need more space in a tarot deck. I need to be able to breathe and not for the card to tell me what to say, if that makes sense. So if you are a Marseille reader, you will feel the shift of the pips here because they're different. And if you have been reading Waite-Smith for a long time, this deck is not so hard to read because it makes sense what you're looking at. Some of it is familiar and some of it is really, really creative. Like the way these 5 swords are arranged, the 2 out front and the 3 that make that shape in the back. So I really think this is an extraordinary deck. I do have the guidebook. I've never read it. And there's something about subtlety of color that really helps. You've seen I have a lot of colorful decks, but when a deck is more subtle in color, such as the one I put in the surprise category, you also have more room to read. So what I mean by that is in the Tarot de Marseille, for example, yellow means intelligence. Yellow means intellect, right? Yellow has a certain color, a certain meaning. Let's go to the Bateleur. I love some of the interpretations. Red is power. I don't know. Just I remember when I started with Robin Wood, and Robin Wood is like that too. She tells you what the colors mean. And colors can mean a whole variety of things. And this was really sort of honed in for me later on in life when I was doing deep yoga sadhana in India and learning that the colors of the chakras don't necessarily follow the colors of the rainbows. Generally speaking, the root chakra is a reddish color. But as we move up through the chakras, the colors may vary depending on what you are working with and your own frequency level, because color is frequency. And it's hard to delineate what that might mean. and also across culture. That is something that's very different, what color may or may not represent. And as the world has opened up for us tarot readers, and we are reading across culture, across countries, across the world, so the color green does not necessarily mean money in every culture. And some colors can have different influence in different places of the world. So I really appreciate a deck with a limited color palette. Hi, Perry. Welcome. So there you go. Those are some of my top decks. And thank you so much to César for this challenge. And it's been a long time since I've done a tarot tag. So lovely to have you all here in the chat. And those of you that are coming back for the replay, if you've made it this far, thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Namaste.